Hello everyone, my name is Elina, I'm a watercolor artist and educator, and in this video I'll show you how to paint icebergs. Here's what I'll be using today. The paper is 500 series ready cut watercolor paper by Strathmore. It is 100% cotton and 300 GSM and 8 by 10 inches. I've already taped it to the board that comes with the package using paper tape to keep it in place and prevent buckling. I also sketched the composition in advance. If you'd like to follow along, you can pause here and copy it. A detailed sketch is very important when painting icebergs, so be sure to mark all the shadows. This way, when you start painting, you won't be wondering where to add the paint. You'll simply follow the pencil marks, almost like a coloring book. Take your time with the sketch, and if you want, you can copy mine. I'll also lightly erase some excess graphite since we won't be using thick layers of paint and the pencil marks will remain visible through the watercolor. The paints I'm using are from the MaimeriBlu landscape theme sets. This one is the Arctic edition. I love the variation of blues in this set, which makes it perfect not only for icebergs, but also for painting water, oceans and underwater scenes. Since it includes a yellow, you can mix a range of greens as well. All of the colors are single pigmented and have excellent light fastness. I've already squeezed a small amount of each color onto my ceramic palette and sprayed them with water to activate them. My brushes are by Princeton. The flat one is from their Neptune series and the others are from the Aqua Elite series. I've been using them for a while and I really like them. I also have 2 jars of water, a cotton towel and a paper towel, and that's all I'll be using today. Let's start painting. I'll begin with the sky, and for that I'll flip my board and place my paper tape underneath. With my flat brush I'll wet the entire sky area. Then I take some ultramarine and cover the sky with a simple wash. This will allow the gentle colors of the iceberg to stand out. I'll darken these corners slightly and that's it, the sky is done. Let's leave it to dry. Now that the sky is dry, it's time to paint the iceberg. I'll wet the entire iceberg area, making sure it's very well moistened since I want to work wet and wet for longer. I also have my spray bottle nearby in case the paper starts to dry before I'm ready. Switching to my round brush, I'll take some turquoise cobalt and drop it into the shadowed areas of the iceberg. Since the paper is wet, the paint will spread and create soft edges. This is exactly what we want. If too much water pools at the bottom, soak it up with a damp brush. I'll continue adding color where I've marked the shadows. Then I wash my brush and use it to soften some edges, letting the color spread even more. Now I switch to a smaller brush and pick up Faience Blue. This time I'll use a thicker mix and again I'll follow my pencil marks, dropping the color in thinner strokes. As my paper starts to dry, I'll lightly spray it with water to keep the surface workable. I continue adding blue, ensuring I don't cover all of the turquoise. I'll go in with an even thicker mix now, adding smaller spots for contrast. Some more spots with turquoise. A few splatters for texture. Now I'll use indigo to paint the darkest areas at the base of the iceberg. If you lost some of the white areas, you can leave the paint by dropping clean water and gently scrubbing with your brush. Let's add more splatters, first with clean water and then with the same colors I used for the iceberg, turquoise and finest blue. If you want, you can cover the sky to protect it from splashes. Now let's leave it to dry. Now we'll refine the iceberg with thin layers on dry paper. I will use ultramarine, keeping the mix transparent by using more water than paint. While it's still wet, I'll drop in more color for depth. With the same mix, I'll add a few cracks in the ice, softening the edges with a down brush. I'll also deepen some shadow areas while keeping everything soft and blended. I haven't forgotten about the iceberg in the distance, so let's add that now with turquoise. To make it more interesting, I'll use blue for the lower part. Again, I soften the edges with a damp brush. Now let's paint the water. I'll start by wetting the area thoroughly, being careful to paint around the bear. First, I'll add some indigo strokes. One here on the side. And some more below the darkest parts of the iceberg. I'll also add some indigo around the iceberg where the bear is standing. This will make it pop. Again, I carefully paint around the bear. Next, I'll introduce turquoise into the water. And now let's blend it lightly using a clean damp brush. To increase contrast, I add more indigo in key areas. Now I'll use my flat brush to lift some of the paint and create white highlights. I pick up some color, wipe my brush on a towel, and repeat the process. When my brush has too much pigment, I rinse it before continuing. I also use this technique to create subtle horizontal lines on the water surface. And with that the water is done, let's leave it to dry. Now the final steps, the foreground and the polar bear. The foreground will be simple. I wet the bottom part with clean water and add a few strokes of indigo for shadows. I also add the bear's shadow, making it most intense directly beneath the bear and gradually fading outward. I soften the edges here so they don't look too harsh. Let's try it now. For the bear, I start by wetting it, leaving a thin dry line along the top to preserve a highlight. Switching to a smaller brush, I take some raw umber and add it just below the highlight and in the darker areas based on my reference photo. Gradually, I deepen the shadows. I mix an almost black color using raw umber and indigo and use it for the tiniest details. Finally, I glaze some areas with a transparent gondol yellow to warm up the fur. I soften the edges with down brush for a natural look. And that's it, our iceberg scene is complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and until the next time!